Have you ever had that feeling like you're just going through the motions, kind of like you're a passenger in your own life? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful Zen teaching that asks this very strange question about the price of your sandals. And believe me, it reveals the hidden cost of living an unexamined life and the surprising truth about who's really in charge. Okay, so let's jump right into the core metaphor from the legendary Zen master Linji. He asks, what is the price of your straw sandals? It's a weird question, right? I mean, obviously, he's not actually talking about footwear. What he's really asking is, what's the cost of this journey you're taking? This journey through life itself. Whoa, that's a pretty intense statement. What Linji is saying here is that living on autopilot, mindlessly scrolling, working, consuming, basically just dragging our bodies around, that's not free. There's this hidden debt that's piling up, a bill for our entire journey that one day is going to come due. To really get what that debt means, we first have to understand the problem Linji's pointing at. And he uses a pretty shocking phrase for it, carrying a corpse. It's a wild image, isn't it? The idea is that for most of us, our body is just a vehicle, kind of like a puppet. And the crazy part is, we have no clue who or what is actually pulling the strings. We're just along for the ride, totally oblivious to the real driver inside. And that, right there, is the fundamental question. This isn't about biology or anatomy. It's about the awareness, the intelligence, the force that animates this physical body. And figuring out who this true master is, well, that's the entire point of the Zen path. Now, when most people hear about finding their true self, they immediately think the answer lies in meditation, getting totally quiet and perfectly still. But here's the thing. Master Linji warns that this is actually one of the biggest spiritual traps you can fall into. So you can see this huge difference, right? On the left, you've got these common but, according to Linji, misguided practices, basically trying to force your mind into submission, thinking that's enlightenment. But on the right, that's the real goal. It's not about suppression, it's about liberation. It's about finding freedom in the middle of life's chaos, not by trying to run away from it. So yeah, forcing your mind into some blank, motionless state isn't awakening. It's just another flavor of ignorance. You've just swapped out the master of your chaotic thoughts for the master of forced emptiness. You're still in a prison, my friend. You've just moved to a different cell. Okay, so if the answer isn't in constant mindless activity, and it's not in forced stillness, then where in the world is it? Well, Linji says we're looking at the whole thing wrong. We're getting hung up on the states of being instead of the one who's experiencing them. Think about it like this. Movement is just the nature of the wind. Stillness is just the nature of the earth. They're just natural conditions, always changing. They come, they go. Neither of them has some fixed, separate self. And there it is. That's the punchline. You are not your thoughts, which are always moving like the wind, and you're not the forced quiet you try to create, which is like the earth. You're the awareness that sees both. You're the one who's present whether the wind is howling or the earth is perfectly still. This brings us to a super important Zen idea, pronounced something like mu-wi doen. It means the true person of no rank. And that's you. That's your true nature. It doesn't have a label or a job title or any fixed identity. It's completely free, able to use movement or stillness without ever being trapped by either one. It is the true master of any and every moment. Okay, so that all sounds great, but recognizing this true self, it's not exactly easy, right? So how does a teacher actually help? Well, a master like Linji doesn't have some one-size-fits-all lesson plan. He brilliantly tailors his approach to jolt each student out of their own specific delusion. This is where you see the real art of Zen teaching. For a beginner who's obsessed with some external thing, the master just takes it away. For a more intermediate student who's stuck on their own idea of a self, he takes that away too. But for the advanced student who already sees things clearly, he does nothing at all. The goal is always the same. Break whatever attachment is holding that person back. All right, let's bring this all home because this is the final and honestly the most important part. After all this talk about masters and methods and corpses, the real answer is so much closer than you think. This is the key. The whole journey leads you right back to where you started. You don't have to go on a pilgrimage. You don't have to learn some complex ritual. The most sacred temple, the place where all truth is revealed, it's your own mind, your own awareness, right here, right now. Now think about this for a second. The truth, this divine sound, It isn't something you have to go out and find or achieve. It's always there, like a sound that's been playing in the background your entire life. The only problem is, we've been taught not to listen for it. We've been taught to believe the real answer is always somewhere else. And here it is, the great paradox of the whole thing. The very act of striving and searching for some enlightened self out there in the future is the one thing that keeps you from seeing the reality that's right here, right now. The effort you put into finding it is what pushes it away. So we're going to end with this one thought. The one who is seeking is the treasure you seek. The awareness that's looking for an answer is the answer. It's not something you can ever find because it's the one thing you can never, ever lose. Do you see it?